Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today I am going to rank every single winter track in the Mario Kart series from worst to best. I know this sounds like the most random ranking video I could do, but I did want to make a video in Spooky Month ranking all of the ghost themed tracks in the Mario Kart series, but I never actually got around to it. So I thought in 2026, I'm going to make two ranking videos, one ranking all the Rainbow Roads, the other ranking all the Bowser's Castles. So I thought it's almost Christmas time, and I'm going to take this opportunity to rank all of the winter tracks from worst to best. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Starting off with the F tiers at number 15, SNES Vanilla Lake 1. Where do I even begin? When ranking all the winter themed tracks in the Mario Kart series, I knew immediately that last place was gonna go to one of the SNES Vanilla Lakes. And here we are, last place landed at SNES Vanilla Lake 1. I don't want to sound like I'm biased to Super Mario Kart in particular, because most of the tracks in Super aren't even that good, and this is no exception, because Vanilla Lake 1 does look nice visually, with some good music, but it's just a circle. That's literally it. There isn't an interesting layout or hazards to go through, apart from these ice blocks that are really difficult to see. It's dull, it's empty, it's not even that fun to race on. Like, how could you even consider this a first choice when having a game night with friends? You land Super Mario Kart into the cartridge, and one friend ends up picking SNES Vanilla Lake 1. And honestly, if that happened to me, I would never forgive them for it. And the best thing about it is that it's the only F tier track on this list. There are two D tiers ahead of it, but the rest of the selection on this list is pretty solid. But before we actually get to those tracks, we have to get through the mid ones. So, let's get a move on. Number 14, GBA Snow Land, in its original form at least. The original Snow Land does look cool visually, with some solid music, but if I can admit one thing I really didn't like about Snowland in its original form, it's the camera shake. It's already a slippery course as it is, but the camera shake makes getting through this course even worse than it already is. And the only reason this course is even memorable is because of this negative aspect, which is really frustrating and hard to see what's in front of you, which does make this the second to last spot on this list. Number 13, SNES Vanilla Lake 2. Yes, Vanilla Lake 2 is still not good, but is at least better than SNES Vanilla Lake 1, since it actually does have obstacles to dodge and has a better pattern to drive through, but still feels like you're driving in circles. This easily is one of the most forgettable tracks in the whole Mario Kart series, and while it is better than Vanilla Lake 1, it's still dull, and it's still hard to get into. Well, those are the two D tiers. Now for the C tiers with number 12, N64 Frappe Snow Land. Frappe Snow Land does have a giant snow Mario and some snowman obstacles that add charm to the track, backed by a good music track as well, but the track is mostly flat, with barely any ramps to drive on, which does make this one of the least exciting tracks, not just in Mario Kart 64, but winter tracks as a whole. The walls don't really do much for the gameplay, making it quite bland compared to other N64 courses. And I feel like a part of me thinks that Frappe Snow Land would fit pretty well into Mario Kart World, mainly because of the walls. other than that, Frappe Snow Land is just Frappe Snow Bland for me, really. Number 11, N64 Sherbet Land. Wow, 2 winter tracks from the same Mario Kart game in a row. I never thought that would happen, and it did. N64's Sherbet Land is flat, but is still better and has a bit of life in it compared to the tracks behind it, mainly thanks to the penguin obstacles and the cool cave section in it. The layout is better than some of the winter tracks that I ranked earlier on the list, but I don't find this track to be that exciting, not just in its N64 original, but also the Wii remake did not fully make potential of its mechanics, leaving N64 Sherbet Land is just an okayish track. The penguins are the thing that make it memorable, but overall, N64 Sherbet Land has just come out as an average track. And with the 2 C tiers both coming from Mario Kart 64 out of the way, we're now moving on to the B tiers with number 10, Wii U Ice Ice Outpost. Well, Ice Ice Outpost does have multiple path choices that do add strategy to the course, but the overall theming of the course being a plain polar expedition base doesn't really hit with me very well. The music in it slaps, which is probably the best thing about the track, and as a course, it's not that well paced. Since this is a course I do feel that drags on for too long when I'm racing on it, but when it comes to playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online, this is probably the one track I avoid picking. And am I the only person that didn't pick Ice Ice Outpost that round? And then when it lands on Ice Ice Outpost, I'm literally forced to go through it. I mean, it's not a bad track, but I don't find it typically exciting to race on. Number 9, Starview Peak from Mario Kart World. Starview Peak does excel in its nighttime visuals and has a fun water tricking section to drive through. Its green versus yellow path design is better executed than Ice Ice Outpost, but the lack of obstacles available in Starview Peak and the less energetic music do make this track a bit less memorable for me. I really wanted to rank Starview Peak higher than I did, I really do, but with those drawbacks, Starview Peak is a track that I feel is B tier worthy and not A tier worthy. It's still a solid track that still has some enjoyable gameplay in there, but doesn't quite make the A tier. Speaking of which, we're now moving on from the B tiers to the A tiers with number 8, GBA Snow Land in its 8 Deluxe form. Wait a minute! Why am I ranking GBA Snow Land twice? The original near the bottom and the 8 Deluxe remake this high? Well, the reason I have 2 slots for GBA Snow Land is because I would rather play it in its 8 Deluxe form than its original. Because the camera isn't annoying this time, and the layout's more interesting, with cool visuals and music, which does make GBA Snow Land and 8 Deluxe a better experience overall. It doesn't make advantage of anti-gravity, the core gimmick of Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe, but it's still better to race on than the original, and it's a good improvement over the original. Number 7, Merry Mountain from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I almost forgot to include this one on the ranking list, but Merry Mountain stands out for having holiday-themed visuals, including candy canes and a train, with this is probably the track that inspired me to make this video. Because with it almost being Christmas, this is probably the perfect track with its catchy music that does contribute to the holiday spirit quite well. And the first half of the track does add good variety, but where the track falls apart for me is in the second half, where it does become repetitive and empty. It does have a charming theme that makes it a memorable track, but it doesn't fully utilize its potential. Number 6, DS DK Pass. Usually, I'm not the biggest fan of traffic style courses, but what makes DK Pass more interesting of a traffic course for me is the amount of downhill sections in here that do make the track overall exciting. The snowball obstacles do add something to dodge as you're racing through the course, but it does lack the trickability of DK Summit or DK Snowboard Cross, as it's called for me in the UK. The visuals and the pace do make it a fine course in its original form, but in its Mario Kart World form, however, I really enjoy racing on it because of the trickability. Number 5, GCN Sherbet Land. I know I'm probably going to have a lot of backlash for ranking Sherbet Land this high, especially if someone coming from Shay Thrillers Productions watches this video, because he ranked Sherbet Land second to last on his GameCube track ranking, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Sherbet Land is visually stunning on the GameCube and in Mario Kart 8. It has some great music and a wide variety of obstacles which do bring Sherbet Land to life in its GameCube form and its Mario Kart 8 form, with the expressive prop designs, its slippery physics that do sometimes frustrate, and the skater Shy Guys do bring in personality to the track, making it more memorable even if this track is not perfect. But it's still a fun winter track to race through, even in its form in 8 Deluxe. And now, with all of the A tiers out of the way, we're now moving on to the S tiers, starting off with number 4, Sky High Sundae from both 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass and Mario Kart World. I didn't know going in if Sky High Sundae should technically count as a winter track, but with the ice cream theme, I'm just gonna put it in here anyway. Sky High Sundae doesn't feel that interesting in its original 8 Deluxe form, but its Mario Kart World form, however, is what makes it stand out. With how phenomenal Sky High Sundae looks at night, and the amount of tricking possibilities on the desserts, and wall riding, and even if it's just a basic oval layout, the amount of tricking possibilities do make Sky High Sundae rank higher for me. The catchy music and the ice cream theme is what makes Sky High Sundae a memorable course. It's simple, but it's fun. Number 3, Rosalina's Ice World. Remember the video I made in 2023, where I shared my top 25 Mario Kart tracks? Well, the video is practically outdated now, not only because of the release of Mario Kart World, and also the fact that the order doesn't quite add up, with Rosalina's Ice World now being behind DK Summit. But Rosalina's Ice World is still one of my favourite winter tracks in all of Mario Kart. The visuals look amazing, not just in its Mario Kart 7 form, but in its 8 Deluxe form as well, and it does match Rosalina's vibe quite well. The underwater driving sections do add a twist to the winter theme. The details, such as the domes, the penguins, the coral, and some Rosalina related details, do make this a well put together course, supported by music that does improve the overall atmosphere of the course. There's not that many obstacles to offer in Rosalina's Ice World, which is probably the one flaw I have with the track now looking back at it. But overall, Rosalina's Ice World is charming, and until the end of time, I will be the biggest Rosalina's Ice World defender in the Mario Kart community. Number 2, Wii DK Summit, or DK Snowboard Cross if you're in the UK. DK Summit does nail the winter vibe, and it feels like something ripped out of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, with the amount of snowboarding Shy Guys, half pipes you can trick off, its high energy soundtrack, its fast paced gameplay. And while a few sections within the track do feel a bit tight, such as the half pipes, which are quite easy to fall off into the canyon, but the trick opportunities in DK Summit are what make this track fun. It's a standout to me, not just because it's a track from my childhood, but is held up pretty well. And now, my friends, are you ready to find out who the first place in Mario Kart Winter Tracks is going to go to? And I can tell you now, out of all the Mario Kart ranking videos I've done, if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is your favorite Mario Kart game, you'll be happy that I've finally given 8 Deluxe first place in something in a ranking video. Even if it's not my favorite overall Mario Kart game, even if it doesn't have my overall favorite retro selection, but what it does have is my overall favorite winter track. In number 1, Wii U Mount Wario. Mount Wario was not a track I thought an awful lot about previously, but now looking back at Mount Wario, it's a masterpiece. There's a lot of variety in Mount Wario, such as the linear downhill design that's packed with unique sections and obstacles to drive through. The detailed backgrounds do make every moment not feel repetitive, and while the music manages to pump up the excitement, my favourite part of the track overall is the glide section, which does make me very excited to play on this track. Not just for every other part of the track, but the glide section at the end in particular. And yet again, the only flaws I really have with Mount Wario is the tricky tree section, but that doesn't really remove from the overall experience. And if you want to race on a winter course in Mario Kart, this is the course. So guys, what did you think of my ranking of all of the winter courses in the Mario Kart series? And I want to hear from you. If you had to rank the winter courses in Mario Kart in some way, how would you rank them? So, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another ranking video like this one in the future. And I will see you all in a future ranking video. BB8 out.